Good afternoon, Coolest Coast. It is time for Coffee on the Coast. We promised you a mystery guest today talking about Manitowoc Public Library programming. And here she is. Welcome back to the show, Kate Casey. Kate, so nice to see you.
Hi, so good to see you too, Tina. Thank you for having me.
You bet. So we are talking about one of the beloved programs that Manitowoc Public Library and you offer in collaboration, and that is Cats on Mats. When is this happening again?
So this is happening on July 19th of next month. So it's in like, I don't know, 3 weeks from now or something. It's not that far off.
Yeah, it's closer than we would think, right?
I know. I know. I'm already trying to plan like my whole next month of my life and figure out like where I need to be and when. But I am very much looking forward to our next class. It's always a delight to teach.
Awesome. Okay, so Cats on Mats with Kate Casey, Wednesday, July 19th at 6 p.m. Again, that date is closer than you think, and you want to keep in mind that registration opens on July 5th at 5 p.m. Why is that important for people to know that?
So that is important because we have had very high demand for this class in the past. So it just kind of depends on when people are available to actually do the registration. So you can now register online, which previously you had to do it either by phone or in person. So this is much more convenient. Of course, you can always stop by the desk at the library if you want to register once that window is open. But I do recommend registering online just because it is faster. The time before last, I believe we sold out in less than 3 hours. So the spots go fast. I'm hoping that this time it won't be so fast.
Oh, Kate, we lost your audio. Hold on one second. We are talking with Kate Casey. She is telling us about Cats on Mats. This is a collaboration with Manitowoc Public Library, and it's going to be on Wednesday, July 19th at 6 p.m. But registration opens July 5th at 5 p.m.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear Kate.
Okay, good. See, I told you I got to bring my backups because these little earbuds can get sassy. Anyway, yeah, so registration does go quickly. I'm hoping in the past it's been really, really fast if we open it in the morning, but this is going to open in the evening. So if you are at home, make sure that you set your alarm because you might be off, like with your kids or doing something in the evening that you might not think like, oh yeah, I got to make sure I register. But if this is a class that you have tried to come to in the past, definitely set a reminder in your phone or whatever it is that you need to do in order to remember. It's so wonderful. I love teaching it. I wish that I could offer it even more than what I do right now. But it's truly like the highlight of my whole year every time I get to teach.
So what can people who participate expect? Do they need to bring their own mats? Is it what, level of yoga? Is this for all levels, beginners included? Tell us more.
So this class is written and structured in a way that anybody who wants to come can come. I always say the only caveat is you must love cats, right? So if you don't like cats, this is not the class for you. You will not have a good time. So don't come. But if you do like cats, this is perfect for you. If you've never done yoga before, I structure the class so it's very easy for anyone to kind of understand and like wiggle. There's no pressure to make your poses look a certain way or feel a certain way. Everything is very accessible. So I do generally recommend that people bring either a yoga mat if you have one, but don't go out and buy one if you don't, because otherwise you could bring like a really big beach towel or just kind of like a throw blanket or just anything that could be between you and the floor. Because we are going to be in the public space, and I cannot tell you when the last time the room was vacuumed. I'm sure it will be very clean, but I know some people are like, oh, I don't know that I really want to put my face right on the floor.
Yeah, it's nice to have a towel or a mat.
Yeah.
And so when you say space, so this is happening at Manitowoc Public Library?
Yes, so this will be in the Balkansky room. So if you're not familiar with where that is, it is on the second floor. So as you go up the stairs, you're going to come and face the children's portion of the library, and it is just directly to the left. It's like the first door right there. And it's a really wonderful large space. And so generally we kind of arrange ourselves in like a semicircle, and then we bring in cats from LHS, which is such a treat. So all the cats that come in general, almost all of them, if not all of them, will be adoptable. And I can never promise what kind of cats they're going to be as to adults or kittens. It just kind of depends like who they have at the shelter at the time, who's being fostered. But so we'll arrange ourselves. We'll start with like gentle breathing, kind of bring the energy down in the room so that it's a little bit more calm. And then we open up all of the little carriers that we have that we bring the animals in, and we let them just kind of run around. And so it's always chaotic, as all good things in life are, right? There's always just this element of like surprise and unstructured joy, I guess is what I would call it. So it's just a wonderful class.
I love that unstructured joy. So as people are, bringing themselves into a calm space and they're starting to practice yoga, do the cats kind of pick up on that? Does it kind of change their vibe?
Yeah. So cats, like I said, when we start, I like to bring the energy level way down, because especially shelter animals, they're always kind of nervous, especially because they're going to be in a new environment. I mean, most of us are, right? You go someplace you've never been before. There is a little bit of element of anxiety there. Even me, like I've been practicing yoga for 20 years. If I walk into a studio I've never been in before, there is a little level of anxiety there. So when we move through our practice, these animals can get very attuned to the energy level that you are bringing. So I generally recommend like the more calm you are, the more likely they're going to come over and investigate. Sometimes I always say like, don't bring your good mat that you paid like $90 for, because they're going to come over and they're going to scratch, or maybe they'll roll around on it. You never really know. Sometimes they chase each other around. So it just is, it's very interesting to see all of these different personalities in one room together and to spend time with them and be on their level, right? A lot of people don't spend time, like on their hands and knees face to face with their animals, or sitting down on the floor with their animals for an extended period of time.
Right.
So the cats really do enjoy getting that like very close, calm, soft interaction together with us.
That's awesome. So if somebody's practicing, if they themselves are in the middle of cat pose or downward dog and a cat comes around, should they just keep practicing? Can they stop and play with the cat?
Well, I encourage everything. So whatever you're comfortable with. I mean, I always say that all of my classes, regardless of whether or not there are animals involved, they are the participants' classes. They're the students' class. So you have this hour of protected time, and it's my job to make sure that I give you something to do. You may or may not listen to it, right? But I give you the space to kind of find what works for you. And it's funny you mentioned this. There's a photo that makes, maybe it might be a little video that makes me laugh every time I see it, of this Buddhist monk, and he's in his orange robes, and he's sitting, and there's a cat in his lap that is just like going nuts, right? And he has such a hard time because he's trying to meditate, and this cat is just losing its mind, right? And the irony is if he were to just engage and pet it one time, the cat would be calm and he could continue to meditate. But because he has this very structured view of like what a good meditation is, what a good yoga practice would be, that he doesn't engage. And then it makes the entire process so much more challenging. So I like this class because it helps us understand like, okay, we might have an image in our minds about how we want life to go, or how we want even just this hour to go. But you can't plan for that. And you have to just be able to be flexible and engage with your environment and meet people where they are, meet cats where they are, and just have a good time with it.
That is such good advice that you just laid on us right there, Kate. Like not only for practicing yoga, not only for like interfacing with cats, but like really every moment of every day, just being flexible and meeting the world where you are without having all of these expectations for how it's going to unfold.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. That's why I like the class so much. I think it's such a good mirror for the way that we should attempt to live our lives.
We've got deep wisdom here with Kate Casey
Yeah.
on the coolest coast.
Animal yoga teacher.
Just this morning I saw a video, and it was a person practicing yoga with their dog. And so they each had a mat, like there was a mat there for the dog.
Cute.
And the dog was, kind of paying attention. So like the practitioner was in downward dog and started like lifting their leg, and the dog kind of looks, and then you see the dog like try to lift its leg.
Cute.
And it made me think of cats on mats. Are cats ever that engaged? I know dogs mimic humans a lot more than cats, but like, have you ever seen a cat like try to?
I will say I've never seen them do a yoga pose other than maybe, like we do have cat pose, which is like on your hands and knees and you get the arched back, if you think like a scaredy Halloween cat, that's kind of what the pose looks like, right? And so it's named cat pose for that. So every once in a while, you'll see them kind of do that. The Cats on Mats series that I continue to teach and that I named my business after is inspired by the cat that I used to have, Scooter. And I adopted him from LHS. And the reason why I did was because he was a resident there and he came to, I think it was like 3 or 4 of my Cats on Mats classes. He was still there. Next month, he was still there. So I would always pull him out because I knew he would be hard to adopt because he had some health challenges. But his favorite thing he liked to do was he would go in a circle and spend 5 minutes with every single person practicing. So he would kind of like rub on their arms. He'd want to be pet. He'd spend time with each person. So like no favorites, wanted to spend time with everyone, be friendly with everyone. And then at the end for Shavasana, which is our final resting pose, traditionally we do it laying all the way down on our backs and relaxed. But I stay seated so I can keep an eye on everyone, keep the room safe and provide guidance. But so when Shavasana would happen, everyone would lay down and I would stay seated and Scooter would crawl up into my lap and he'd curl up in a little ball and he'd go to sleep. And so, of course, that's when I knew. I was like, oh, well, I think this has to be my cat now. But he very much embodied a lot of yogic principles, right? And especially in the yoga class where he was like, oh, it's time for sleep. Okay, like now we're all going to lay down and take a rest.
Yeah, it's like he was an active participant. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So tell us more then about what it says in this pink box about donations being collected and how people can support the Lakeshore Humane Society.
Yes. So our class is always free of charge for our participants. But I do encourage people to bring a donation. So whether that is either a physical donation, like if you're like me, you might have like kitty litter on auto reorder, right? And so like at my house, I have like several boxes of kitty litter that are probably not going to be gone through in quite a while. So I'm going to bring some of those and bring that. If you don't have extra stuff, like you don't have a cat in your house, right? So you don't have extra like little kibbles or whatever to give. We do take monetary donations. So I usually recommend somewhere between $10 and $20. And so if we have 20 people in class, that adds up really fast to a significant amount of money. But the library itself is actually doing a drive for LHS, the Humane Society, right now. So if you don't want to have to worry about bringing your things to class along with like everything else you're trying to remember that evening, they're doing a drive from, I think it started June 1st and it's going to run all the way through the end of July. And they're taking a ton of different things. So they have a list on their website. You can always go to the Humane Society's website and look at what they are asking for currently. And you can bring those items either to the library. They have actually a big poster of my cat, Scooter, and a big sign for the Cats on Mats class actually at the library, which was very surprising and delightful when I walked in and saw it for the first time. But you can bring your donations there. You can bring them directly to LHS. You can order, I think LHS even has like an online store, like an Amazon wish list. So you could even just like purchase it and you would never have to haul it anywhere, which I think is really awesome for us busy folks.
Yeah, that's amazing. Oh, that's amazing. And in addition to all of that, what Kate mentioned right up front is that the cats that are going to be participating are adoptable. So if you are already thinking that, having a cat in your life might be the direction you want to go, what a great way to just casually interact and kind of play and just sort of see, like, do you bond with one and is it the right one to go home with you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've definitely had a couple interactions that I was like, oh, if you're here next time, you might have to come home with me. But so far, only have done that once.
Yes,
I've been good.
There's no obligation to adopt a cat.
Right. And I tell people that too. I'm like, even if you feel bad that you can't adopt a cat, which like for many years, I have not been in a position where I can have another cat in my home. But even if you can't, like, it's still worth coming. It's still worth spending time with them. Part of the benefit of doing the class is that the cats get out, number one, of their cages. Number two, they get into a new environment. Number three, they get to socialize with each other and people. So you're helping them learn that people are not scary. New environments are not scary. It's okay to be a little afraid, but then they can kind of work through that anxiety, like I said at the top of class, and help them get adjusted so that when their person does come and they are ready to connect, the cat is just so happy to find whoever that is.
Nice. What a beautiful collaboration. Okay, we've been talking with Kate Casey about cats on mats. This is yoga, all ages, all levels. Oh, all ages. Is that true, Kate?
It is 18 plus, I believe. But otherwise, all levels. Yes,
all
correct.
levels. So it's Wednesday, July 19th, 6 p.m., but registration is required. And previous classes have filled up fast. So mark your calendar. Registration opens July 5th at 5 p.m. on the Manitowoc Library website, or you can register in person at the library. Kate, as always, it has been so much fun talking with you.
Oh, it's so wonderful to talk to you, Tina. Thank you always for having us and allowing us to talk about this.
Thanks for being such a fun mystery guest, and enjoy cats on mats.
Of course. Thank you so much, Tina.
We'll see y'all next time on Coffee on the Coast. Bye.